So we're gonna give it till about 7:05 just to let a few people come in, just in case there's anyone that's having issues getting into the room. If anyone has any questions now that they'd like to ask before we get started, that is great. So feel free to go ahead and ask. And we'll give everyone a couple more minutes and then we'll get started.
What's the major difference between this meet that's coming up and the 5 that we've had already?
So we'll talk about that in pretty great detail during the presentation. But the main difference is that there's going to be the 5-minute judges presentation combined with a 10-minute Q&A that follows for every single team. And then there's also going to be a selection of alliances following every team's 6 qualification matches, and then the elimination matches, which will decide the event winner in the robot game.
Okay, so how many matches total would we be doing?
So every team is guaranteed to play 6 matches, just like the meets. But any team that is selected for an alliance in the elimination matches has to play at least once. So it could be 6 matches, or a team could play up to 10 matches realistically.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and
Alright,
get started, I guess.
Sure. You want me to share the screen?
Yep.
Alright.
I'll go ahead and get started. All right. I'd like to thank everyone that's here tonight. We appreciate you guys coming, wanting to learn a little more about how you can effectively prepare your team for a league tournament. If at any point during our presentation tonight you do not hear something or would like more a greater explanation of anything, please feel free to interrupt us and ask. This is ultimately all about you and your teams. We want you to have a great experience. So if there's anything that you think that you could learn from us, we are more than happy to provide you with that info. So with that, we'll get started. Go ahead.
Oh.
All right, who are we? The question of the century. We're a community-based FEC team from Johnston. This is our 9th year in FTC. We've qualified for state 7 times, and 4 of those 7 times we qualified for Worlds. We're a Central Iowa League team admin for the last 5 seasons as well.
This season structure, as you know, we've had our league meets, which are 5 to 6 matches each, and you can do up to 5 meets. Our league tournament, which is coming up on the 17th, you'll have your judging interview in the morning with that's 5 minutes and then 10-minute Q&A. But throughout the day, the judges will come and talk to you and ask you some questions about your robot and some outreach and other things that you have done. You'll have 6 qualification matches, and then we'll move on to alliance selection and elimination matches. And at the end, we'll have our award ceremony. And there'll be 9 teams moving on to state from our league tournament. At state, there'll be 2 36-team divisions and same judging kind of format as the league tournament, and still elimination matches and line selection.
All right, the main difference between league tournament and your league meets is going to be the inclusion of judging. So there are a lot of things that your team can do to prepare for judging. First, we'll talk about some of the documentation that your team is going to want to bring. So the engineering portfolio is how the judges learn the most about your team. You will turn this in at team check-in when your team arrives at the event. And it must be 15 pages plus a cover page or less. If your portfolio is any longer than this, the extra pages at the back of the book will be removed and not looked at by the judges. So keep this in mind. Additionally, if you want to apply for the control award, you can do so. You will turn this in at the start of the day along with your portfolio. This has to be a maximum of 2 pages and will detail your robot's control aspects such as sensors, autonomous navigation, etc. Then, when your team gets their opportunity to shine, this is the presentation and interview. Your slots for this are pre-assigned based off your availability. And so if your interview is at 9 o'clock, then you need to be there early. You do not want to miss out on this opportunity because this is likely what will determine your success in the judged categories. You will have 5 minutes to present as a team, and then you will have a 10-minute Q&A session following this. And there are typically 2 to 3 judges per room in addition to a timer.
Some general advice for judging is to discuss what you're going to say beforehand. You want everything to be clear and confident. You should also assign specific topics to people so that everyone knows what they're supposed to say and can practice it individually. And for the Q&A, think about common questions like, what does gracious professionalism mean to your team? Or where did you get the idea for your robot design? Or a very common one is, what award do you think your team is best suited for? Also, practice your presentation. It will go much better and it just helps a lot in your judging category. Also, avoid talking over each other. Make sure that everyone knows when they're supposed to be speaking and that you're not just yelling over each other. Make sure your answers are clear and concise. Make eye contact. Don't stare at the judges either, but make comfortable eye contact. And if you have a sister team or a team that practices with you, make sure your judging and your portfolios are not the same, or else one of you could get disqualified or they just don't know which one to choose.
Quick question.
Yes, please.
Does the whole team go in for this, or do you pick specific 3 or 4 people to go in?
The whole team can go in. It's up to you to choose. Generally, almost everyone of the team will go in, but at the end of the day, it is up to you how many people you send in.
Patrick, we would also recommend that your teammates go in, because if they're not there, you have to be able to explain why they're not there. Because if you say you're a team of 8 and there's only 3 people, they're gonna want to know why.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so for post-interview judging, after your judging session, judges will stop by throughout the day to ask more questions about your robot, outreach, anything like that. And you should have a person at your pit at all times, even if it's lunch. So you should make sure someone's there to answer questions. And when judges are there, you should not be afraid of them. You need to tell them what you want to tell them, what they need to hear. So just don't be afraid to talk to them. And team image, you should know that they're probably always watching, and it's not like a horror movie, but you should be wary of your actions, and you should need to follow gracious professionalism at all times, and you need to exhibit first core values. So yeah.
Alright, so the actual inspection itself will not be incredibly different from what you have been through during your normal league meets. However, it is not scheduled, but we do recommend going in as soon as you can in case you have something that needs to get fixed, you have a potential issue, or just to make sure we can get every team in a timely manner. If your team is ready, we encourage you to go early in the inspection process. Give yourself enough time to actually go through the inspection itself. And this inspection, the inspectors will be very thorough in making sure your robot abides by the rules. For example, if your robot has been maybe 18 inches plus just a little more, and they kind of let that slide in a previous meet, that will not be okay at league tournament. Just remember to bring all your alliance markers, spare mechanisms, batteries, open fuse covers. The judges do not want to have to deal with that or have to wait for you to go run and grab them from your pit once you are there. That's about it for inspection.
And then we have drivers meeting and ceremonies. So drivers meeting, all members of the drive team must be there. So if you guys ever switch drive teams throughout the qualification matches, all of them should be there, and do not be afraid to ask questions to the FTA or the head ref. They're more than willing to help clear up any penalties or rules discussions. And then following the drivers meeting, there's an opening ceremony for league tournament and state. That's not there for our league meets, but there is one for league tournament. It's around 11 to 11:30. There can be possible delays. but everyone must be there. Like the whole team, coaches, and parents can also be there. Pitch will be emptied and closed off. Same applies for the closing ceremonies, where you'll learn about your judges and the awards you have received.
All right, any questions?
If anyone has any questions so far, please feel more than free to ask. We know this is a lot of information that we're presenting, but is all very useful. So we'd like to give you just a moment here to maybe take a few notes, ask any questions, and then once we're done with that, we'll go ahead and move on to the qualification matches and the elimination matches.
I've got a quick question.
Yes.
When you guys do your presentation, how many of you present? I understand you're all there, but how many actually go through how many prepare for this?
So all of us speak in like relatively equal parts, just so that everyone on the team can be doing stuff and being active in our presentation. So everyone has different topics that they choose or present on.
Thank you.
And it's highly recommended that you do so.
Yeah, on another note, I would make sure that all the people going to that presentation that are going to be there are able to speak on generally everything that the judges might ask about. You don't want to have a judge single out one person and have them just be like, well, I don't know. I recommend though, if that does happen, just say, hey, that's not my area of expertise. I'd recommend directing that question towards so-and-so.
Thank you very much.
All right, I think we're gonna go ahead and move on then to the second half of our presentation. We'll talk about the robot matches.
Qualification matches. Everyone will play 5 to 6 matches, just like the meets. Be on time. Do not skip the queue. Possible disqualification from the match. If you're not there for the match, it's going to start without you. Ranking. All 6 factor in, combined with your 10 best matches from your league meets. Top 4 teams after all the matches will become alliance captains. Scouting is really important, and you must be prepared if you're a captain, because you are going to be picking some teams to join you. Don't just look for high scoring teams. You should be looking at auto pathing, timing, overall strategy is super important, and just how good are they in certain areas.
All right, following the end of qualification matches, typically about 10 to 15 minutes after, is the alliance selection process. During this, all teams, yes, that is every single team at the event, will designate one member as their team representative. Then the top 4 teams in ranking, their representatives, will be called up to be the alliance captains. And if we have 20 or fewer teams, we will be forming 2-team alliances for the eliminations. If we have 21 or more teams, we will be having 3 teams per alliance. So that just varies. We should be having 3-team alliances, but we do not know, just in case anyone doesn't show up or for any other reason. These teams can select whoever they want. First place has the option to pick second place because they might be the best team, or they can pick one of the lowest ranked teams if for some reason that team had a bad day and they think they're the best robot available. However, if the first seed picks second, third, or fourth, and that team accepts, everyone else will move up a spot, which means, for example, the 5th place captain is now the captain of the 4th seed alliance. So that can get a little bit confusing. But statistically, the lowest ranked team that can be a captain is 7th place. So if you are ranked 8th or below and you get asked to join an alliance, unless your robot is just broken or does not work anymore and cannot be fixed, you should definitely be accepting the offer. However, if you are ranked higher and you think you can do better on your own by picking your own teams, you do have the option to decline. However, if you do this, you can no longer be picked to join another alliance. You can still be a captain and pick other teams to go with you, but you will not be the first pick or second pick of another alliance. We have never done this. We don't recommend declining, but sometimes there is a strategic advantage of doing so. So do remember that it is an option.
After the alliance selection process, there's the elimination matches. The elimination matches are best of 3 format, so the first alliance to win 2 matches. Every team on the alliance must play at least 1 match per round. It doesn't matter which team does 2, if there's a 3 seed, if there's 3 people on an alliance, but everyone must play at least once. For the face-offs, it's the first seed faces the 4th seed, and then the second seed faces the 3rd seed, and then the winners of each face each other. If you're not in elimination, find a team or alliance to support so you can be there to cheer it on.
So this is the bracket for the semifinal matches, the finals, and the champion. So as Jack said before, the first seeded alliance will go against the 4th seed alliance, and the second will go against the 3rd. And the ones who win those matches will move on to the semifinals, and those 2 will face off against each other for the finals match. Yeah, the colors
Yes.
are predetermined.
Yeah, so whoever wins the 1v4 match will be the Red Alliance in the finals. Whoever wins the 2v3 will be the Blue Alliance in the finals.
So after the elimination matches have happened, we are going to have our awards ceremony. If you are not one of the teams playing in those elimination matches, we recommend packing up your pit pretty soon, because it can start to get crammed in there and can get hard to have everyone packing up their pit at the same time. We do recommend everyone sticking around, as many awards are given out, and you never know if you could advance based off of one of those awards. At conclusion of that closing ceremony, 9 of our teams will advance to the state meet. Without repeats, those are the Inspire first, second, and third place, Winning Alliance first pick and second pick, Pink Award finalist alliance captain, and Connect Award winner. If a repeat happens, others will advance in the order available in the game manual. One example might be our Winning Alliance captain might win second place Inspire, therefore adding another space for another team.
And always remember, be gracious professionalism. Be a gracious professional. It's imperative that you follow this core value of first. Judges are always looking out for teams being gracious professional. It doesn't always have to be in the pits, in the driver's box, in the bathrooms, even at your inspection. So remember, everyone is listening and always looking out for a gracious professional. A way of doing gracious professionalism. It's a way of doing things that encourages high quality work, emphasizes the value of others, and respects individuals and the community.
And with that, that's going to conclude our presentation for today. We really appreciate everyone that showed up to learn more about League Tournament. If there's any questions we can answer for you, we're more than happy to. Or if you don't feel comfortable, you can send us an email at ftc9974@gmail.com, or reach out to us through our Twitter or X page, Instagram, or on our YouTube channel. So with that, we'll leave it open to questions.
Yeah, really nice job, guys. Thank you very much for putting this on. I didn't notice, was this recorded, and will it be sent out so we can show our teams?
Yes, this will be recorded and sent out to teams through our YouTube page, which is FTC9974. You can just look it up.
I'll also send you a link, Patrick, to anybody that's in our league I can send it to. If you're not in our league, I don't have your email address, so I can't send it to you, but I will make sure Becca has it and she can get it to anybody that's interested.
Thank you, Angie.
You guys want to run through an alliance selection, how you speak at an alliance selection, what you say?
Yeah, so here, let's move a second.
So you guys.
All right. So just to kind of run through the alliance selection process, it can be a little bit confusing, especially the first time. And since we will likely have 3-team alliances. So just to have a brief example, we're going to have our members stand up here and pretend to be members of a team. So Cutter and Alex, you slide out of you for just a moment. So we're gonna assume that, you can slide a little further, we're gonna assume that right here, we have the first seed alliance, second, third, and fourth. And you can, during the alliance selection process, teams usually have a way of saying how they'd like to invite partners. There's no set way to do this or way you have to, although usually teams follow the same general formula. So usually when a team is asking who they'd like to join their alliance, they'll say team X would like to graciously invite team number X to join our alliance. And then the team being asked will come up and say whether they would like to. So we're gonna say, who would you like to invite to join your alliance?
This fell off.
Say team member
So-
Carter.
So just come with.
Team number 7.
All right, so we got team number 7. So that's our third ranked team who's gonna come over, and then we're gonna ask team number 7, would you like to graciously accept or decline their offer?
Team 7 graciously accepts.
So then we've got an alliance, they'll shake hands, and now they're together, which means since our 3 seed is now gone, the 4 seed moves up, and then the 5th seed, who wasn't a captain previously, is now a captain. And then the 2 seed can ask, and so we'll ask them who they want to invite to join
Team
their alliance.
Y would like to graciously invite Team 8.
All right, team 8. So that was our 4th captain, who was our 5th ranked team initially. So they'll come over. Would you like to graciously accept or decline this offer?
Team 8 would like to graciously decline this offer.
So they chose to decline because they're an alliance captain. So they could still pick any of the other teams, which is okay. But now our second captain has to pick another team.
Team Y would like to graciously invite Team 9.
All right. So then we got team number 9 from over here. Would you like to graciously accept or decline?
Team 9 graciously accepts.
So they choose to accept. They join the alliance. And that's the format repeats until we have our 4 captains set in stone and they have selected either one team to join their alliance or 2 teams, depending on the size of the event. And there will be an explanation of it given prior to the alliance selection at February 17th league tournament, just so it's not quite as confusing. Everyone understands what's going on and whether they should be accepting, declining, or who they should be thinking about picking.
And Ben, after the 4th captain has made their first pick, who picks again?
So after that, once each team has made a selection, we don't have enough people here to be their first picks. It goes back to the 1st seed. They'll pick a second team to join their alliance. Then the 2nd seed will pick a second team. The 3rd seed will pick a second team. And lastly, the 4th seed will pick a second team. So the 1st seed, obviously, since they're the highest ranked team at the event, has the biggest advantage because they get first dibs on who they want. And then the 4th seed doesn't have as wide of a variety of teams to pick from, but there's going to be a lot of good teams available at all these events that we're playing at. So there's always going to be someone good that those teams are going to be looking for.
And can that be where strategy really comes into play of finding a partner that works well with you?
Yeah, so that's
Right.
that's really why scouting is so important. So someone want to talk about that?
Yeah, so generally scouting is looking through past matches or past statistics through resources like FTC Scout and making sure that the team that you're gonna pick is the best fit for you. And I highly recommend 1 or 2 members scouting all the matches. If you're in contention of being an alliance captain, to make sure that you are picking the right person or team to be with you.
Even if you do not think you are in contention for being a captain, you probably are. Anything can happen at league tournament, and if you're in a position to be picking other teams, you need to be prepared to pick who you want.
Other questions?
Please feel free if you have any other questions. If not, please feel free to reach out to us through our social media or email afterward.
What's the best part about league tournament, you guys? Besides the chance to move on to state, what do you like best? What's the best part of your day?
I like the I like the alliance selection because I think it's really cool to see what teams those captains end up going with and who they think is the best fit for them.
I think for me, at least, I think it's probably the closing ceremony because it's good to see teams that I know that are able to succeed with whatever specialization in a specific award can move on with. Also, just on the robot side as well, it's good seeing competitive matches in our playoffs.
I think one of the best things about league tournament is just getting to see everyone sometimes, unfortunately, for one last time before the season ends. Unfortunately, we just don't have the resources to have everyone get to move on to state. So this is kind of the last hurrah for all the teams in the league that we've been playing with all season. Getting to see them, have a lot of fun together, play some elimination matches, win some awards, and just have a great time before we see each other again, possibly at state or at next year's league meets and league tournament. All right. We're gonna have one last call for any more questions, but if there aren't any, we're gonna go ahead and conclude. All right, looks like we have a question actually. So the question is, if my team has been ranked in the top 6 for the entire season, is there a guarantee that we'll be moving on to the next level of competition? Someone like to address that?
Take it away.
No, there is no guarantee because it's really dependent on how you do in your judging interviews and if you win awards or if you do well with your robot in the finals matches and such.
And like during robot matches, literally anything could happen. Like your robot might just break down or something. And you got to be prepared for it. So you can't just like cast off the chance that you might not advance. So you need to be prepared for everything. And anything can happen. So you might not advance, you might advance. So you just need to be prepared.
Yeah, especially if you have been ranked top 6, it's the 6 matches that happen in league tournament has the most weight in your ranking points or tiebreaker points TBP1. So if that does not go well, especially in the league tournament, you might be doing well in league meets. It's just dependent on that and how you are doing within those matches, especially.
And then, although even if you are ranked in the top 6 and you don't advance on Robot Game, you could still advance on any number of awards. During our presentation, we went over which awards are going to be advancing, plus the possibility of repeats. So even if you don't advance on Robot and you expected to, there's still a chance that you'll move on. It looks like we have another question. If we are not selected for Alliance selection and our robot is done for the day, should we plan to leave the event? That is a really good question, and the answer is that you should absolutely not leave the event. You want to stick around, find a team in the elimination matches. Maybe it's a sister team, maybe it's a team that's helped you out a lot throughout the year. You really want to go ahead and cheer that team on, give them the support they deserve so they can do well in the elimination matches. Plus, there's also the strong possibility that your team will be nominated or win any of the judged awards, and there's quite a few of them. So there's a very good chance that even if you don't win an award, you could be the first runner-up, second runner-up, and we want all the teams to get the recognition they deserve from that, which is why all the teams should stick around, even if they get eliminated from robot contention.
And you could be recognized for those awards at the closing ceremony, which happens after the elimination matches. So if elimination matches and you're not in it, you must stay for the closing ceremony. Any other questions? Other than that, I think wrapping up on time as well for our Zoom meeting.
Okay, I think we're all good then, since we don't have any further questions. Again, one last time, if you want any more info, go ahead and shoot us an email, contact us on social media. But with that, we'll conclude our meeting and we'll see you again soon, hopefully at League Tournament. If not, maybe we'll see you later this season or in some future season.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Thank you,
Thanks, everyone,
gentlemen.
for coming.
Thank you.